Yeah. I've gone too far. Salute. All right, Leah, would you kindly lead us, trustee? And the flag salute.
Yes, and ready. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, trustee. Right. We will proceed with roll call. Trustee Silver, I am here.
Trustee Moser present.
Ruff, present. Trustee Rodriguez, present.
And I will note that trustee Jacks is not here. We will move to reports. And the next item is but we get to the report.
The one time your mic is like really working.
I want to make sure. I'm on this. Oh. Where's the? I looked at it.
No, it should be turned in front of this thing. In the agenda.
I have the agenda. It says reports, but I don't know which report. Oh, it says reports. It says
Yes, that's
No written report.
That's a brief.
It says reports. So there is no written report, but I see Mr. Solero at the podium. So are you providing a report?
That is correct. I'm going to provide a brief update on the budget as requested by the chair.
Then let me state for the record, we are on 2A, a brief budget report presented by Dave Solero. That is a non-action item. Get it right?
Great. For the record, Dave Solero, Assistant County Manager. Before I jump into my brief report, I do want to recognize that Commissioner Alexis Hill has been appointed by the Board of County Commissioners as the board liaison to the Board of Trustees. And so Commissioner Hill is here with us this evening as well. As you all will recall, Chair Silver last meeting requested a brief budget update at this meeting. And since I've been involved pretty much all year with the budget and a few other things with you all, I elected to come up in person to have a little conversation with you, just to give you a kind of a heads up where we're at. So we are 2 weeks left in the fiscal year, so fiscal year 26. 2 weeks left in that, and a whole bunch of purchasing deadlines have come and gone through the process that we utilize at the county. But when I pulled the report last Friday again, we have two budgets at the library. We have a general fund budget, and we still have the expansion fund budget. Glad to let you know that the expansion fund budget will be completely utilized this year. So we will be able to close that out, and it'll go through the year-end process. It'll get closed out. So the next year in fiscal year 27, we will only have one budget within the Washoe County Library System, and it'll be considered the general fund library budget. So that budget will be completely exhausted, which is great. The board mid-May augmented that budget. So as you'll recall, last year when we got to the end of the fiscal year, there was money left over in the fund. We took a guess because we were still closing out the books in the last fiscal year to understand how much money was actually going to be in there. That translated to an augmentation of that budget of $475,000. Now, board, you will remember that the Board of County Commissioners, when they approved the fiscal year 26 budget, they held what we called $1.3 million in abeyance. That $475,000 was a part of that. So it was general fund monies essentially. Actually, I'm going to restate that. The 475 was not general fund monies, but those were monies that after we closed all the books in 25 that were available for use in fiscal year 26. The board went ahead and took the action to amend the budget to include that $475,000. That is being utilized to purchase materials at the direction of, I believe, this board. And so that $475,000 is going towards that. The board will take action. The Board of County Commissioners will take action next week to acknowledge the two companies that we work with for the materials to increase the amount of money that we can spend there. Now, we'll have 1 week left in the fiscal year, but we've got everything put in place to actually issue that purchase order and get those materials in by the end of the fiscal year. So that will, again, close out the general fund budget, or sorry, the expansion fund budget. Now, moving to the general fund side, when I pulled this report last week, there was basically $64,000 worth of services and supplies left in the budget. So the library system has done a great job of spending the budget that was allocated for library services. And so I believe that $64,000 has actually been spent since this report. There is going to be roughly $780,000 in staff budget that will still be available. That is going to roll to the general fund. That is due to all of the staff position that we held open during the time we were going to, trying to work through the process of understanding the right schedule and everything for the libraries. And so that number actually covers some, it doesn't cover any of the service supplies. It is all staff related. And so it'll go back. But this year, the Board of County Commissioners in the fiscal year 26 budget also budgeted salary savings. And so that number will cover the salary savings associated with the library portion. So we're not going to run into negative dollars in our budget. So everything is good on the budget side of the world. Now, there's a lot of talk about the $1.3 million held in abeyance. I want to let you know that Washoe County budget has essentially transferred about $1 million to the library so that we could purchase materials, so that we could purchase new customer-facing computers because the ones we had were pretty old. Also some supplies for staff, chairs, and then the book carts in the libraries. And so that is really what that money went towards. Well spent within the library system, not spent crazily, so to speak. I think everything worked out pretty well within the budget. So just want to give you a brief update that the library system utilized the monies that were allocated by the Board of County Commissioners efficiently for the entire library system. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to the board for any questions you may have.
Are there questions from the trustees? I just want to thank you for that brief report. I feel really good about the budget, despite the failure of the initiative. I think we did the hard work to ensure that we could take care of the libraries and the staff and books. Not everything we wanted, but a really good job of working through all the details. So thank you so much. Anything else? Okay. We will move on to item number 2B, brief branch report presented by Amanda McPhail, Incline Village Branch Manager. This is a non-action item, or the one is canceled. Okay, so we will move on to the director's report presented by Lisa McClure. It's a 30, 60, 90-day and 1-year working plan progress report. It's a non-action item. So you have the floor.
This is a brief update. In the first 30 days, I mentioned that I was focusing the 30, 60, 90 is get to know the library and get to know what the situation is here. I know how to be a director, but I didn't know how to be a director before. So I've been going through time of study, research data, and meeting with people in the community. So I completed one-on-one sessions with the administrative. I'm sorry. Thank you. I apologize.
Okay, is that better? All right. My apologies. So in my 30-day assessment, I was focusing on the library. I had one-on-one sessions with the administrative team, and those will be continuing with the branch managers as I go along. I'm starting my program assessment. I'm going to be visiting various programs to review. And when I look at programs, I look at if they're containing best practices, and I'm assessing the impact. I mentioned last time that our strategic plan, our previous strategic plan did not measure impact of programs. So even though a lot of times the staff knows and the community knows, I'd like to quantify that and have that available. So I'll be looking at that. It's not currently measured. I've also been doing a staffing review. Some of my ideas are, I think I mentioned before, we have a flat organizational chart. And our staff is very talented, and we need to increase their capacity to do good work. With the budget constraints in prior years, the focus was on keeping the hours open. And what a lot of people don't understand is you say, okay, we need 2 people in the building all the time when we're open, or 4 people, or however many you need. And then you get all those people there and they're involved in dealing with the public. They're not able to do research and plan strategically. So while you're getting good service and you have access to resources, the library is not operating as optimally. So I want to make sure, I always say my biggest job is to empower my staff to deliver outcomes. So, for example, we have there are a lot of branch managers who work on the desk regularly because our staff is shorthanded. So if you're working on the desks and helping people find books and stuff, you're not working on best practices and bringing community success. So I've been looking at the schedules, and our branch manager, our downtown library, one of the issues is she's always being pulled from her work to work on the desk. So when you think of that in terms of salary, what's your return on investment in having one of your higher paid library employees pointing out where people's holds are? So we want to get to a place where we look at the value of what we do and the impact that we want on the community. And then we adjust what we do and how we do it so we can do the best job. I've also been looking at the board. This is a scary thing to say here. One thing I know is that it's going to be really helpful if we move forward with this, our 2 new trustees. We're looking at board training, so they really understand the role of what they do, and as well as significant developments in librarianship. And that's why I'm doing the education segments. Also, one role that has not been fulfilled is the role in advocacy. In many libraries, the boards travel to conferences. There's an entire board track at major conferences with tons of classes. There are associations that are made up of trustees across the country that have great information. I would love to see us more involved in advocacy and looking at making calls to our senators and things when things come under cuts for museums and libraries as well. And United for Libraries is the organization that works with trustees. And it's a very good organization. They prepare a lot of the documents on how to train. And I think that can add quite a bit. For my staff, we're looking at adding hot topics. I think sometimes in Nevada that we're, coming in as a new person, it's a little bit apart. In the East Coast, everything's piled on top of each other. And being apart sometimes I think can lead to forgetting the rest of the world exists. I don't want to put that in a negative way, but We're going to be adding in our meetings, staff, we're going to be presenting on a best practice, a hot topic at every one of our meetings, and we're going to be looking, really concentrating on research and professional development in our staff. In the 60 days, my goal was to start looking at budget, but look at partnerships and community assessment. We're moving to a single fund. We won't have all the multiple funds and things, so it'll be a bit easier. I'm looking at adding more system-wide purchasing and getting our budget more accurate. It was a little difficult for me coming in. Things aren't aligned with actually how we spend them, and I would like that to be a little more understandable. We end up with too many negatives in some categories and money left over in others. So I want to make sure that it's readable on what we're really expect to be spending. And more purchasing assessments. And looking at our capital improvement plans. The library has made a lot less capital requests in previous years than other departments. And there are things that have been long-term needs that I know are not currently on the capital improvement plan. So I'm looking at that. One thing that I've assessed is we haven't been looking at forecasting the future in the library. And that doesn't mean are we all going to be using robots. What that means is that what are our future requirements in 3, 5, 10, 20 years? We are, well, I saw 2 different things. One said we were the 8th fastest growing state. One said we were the 3rd fastest growing state. Where is all that population moving? What does that mean for a lot of branches? The footprint is too small. And what does that mean in terms of plans for building? You can't achieve your strategic goals if the public doesn't feel welcome because the place is too small and they go and it's crowded and there's not a seat at story time or or it's difficult to come in. And we're number 3 in GDP growth. I didn't realize that. That's pretty exciting. So, like I said, a complete long-term capital improvement plan. And then these things are the things that are going to be added in the strategic plan. We need a complete facilities review and forecast. I've heard that facilities comes through every 2 years to review. We need to understand our facilities, create lists of what the issues are and rank them. And be aware. I consulted at a library. And they kept saying it was new. It was new. Yes, it was 13 years old and it looked beautifully brand new, but a lot of HVAC systems die at about 15 years. They had zero understanding of what would happen if you had a $50,000 HVAC emergency. There'd be no plans for it. They wouldn't be able to handle it at all. So we need to look at population and service needs, and also where communities are developing. If we prepare now, we lay the groundwork for the future. People, you say, oh, you think, well, it seems ridiculous that we could even think of building another branch in the future with upcoming deficits or whatever. But the thing is a public library can be the heart of a community. And how a county supports its library and its presence in the community is indicative of the heart of the community itself. People want to come in and see a neighborhood library in their community. And that's something we have to think about. And we have to do the staffing review. We need to forecast our staff needs. What are those going to be? Currently, we don't have a lot of evening hours. And when I'm looking at strategic planning and who are the people we need to serve, for example, downtown is open 9 to 5. And we don't reach a lot of the people who work full-time downtown days in the downtown area. So, you know, what's our plan for that in the future? Even new types of positions, people that deal with new types of technology. I know a lot of libraries are hiring a senior librarian because they have a youth services and an adult librarian. They're hiring a senior librarian. So what are the positions? You can't just keep saying, oh, so we need to be more hours. We'll hire a bunch more library assistants so they can be on the desk, and that's adequate for the future. So partnership, I'm looking at the review. The staff is creating lists of partners that we have and our and possible partners. I'm setting up visits and arranging some individual and small group meetings and reviewing memorandums of understanding so we can build agreements with Keith that assure us joint training, joint funding, and joint projects in the future. In our community assessment, we're moving forward in that. Johnny Andrews, our internet services librarian, is working with me to set up our environmental scan database, which was going to be all the data on the need in our community, our partners, their contact information, so we can search in different categories and find the different types of organizations that are around the community to get our bigger picture. And the 1-year working plan, this is where a lot of action is happening. I'm working on, after the 90 days, we start in earnest on the strategic plan. We need to help the library rise to its full potential. And that can't happen through incremental change. It happens through transformation with a desired result in a specific time frame. That's strategic gap analysis. When we have a strategic focus and a mission and vision that has concrete initiatives, it supports our role in the community. People understand what we do. Staff uses it as a model for delivering exceptional services. Management develops policies, procedures, and a positive customer experience. And introduce workplace efficiencies. And I can develop financial management priorities and earning campaigns and a realistic budget. And we can prove our relevancy and essential worth. So looking at visioning sessions, you really can't have anything in the summer. Everyone's away. They're holding a page in the Quarterly Explorer. We're going to be having visioning sessions with community, the county, partners, different groups of people, like education groups. You know, for an early learning meeting, we'd invite preschool teachers and things like that. Visioning what they need in terms of education and support and collaboration from the library and how we can meet that. So we're going to be having staff meetings August through and September to brainstorm, and people are going to be working on little some worksheets and surveys for that. With residents in September through December, a longer amount of time, and different branches and different groups. And then partner meetings in October and November. And then we will have 3 drafts. The one in early January is going to be the basic from all our research. We're going to revise with public input. The second draft will be coming in late February. And then the final draft, This will give people a chance to make comments and be a part of the creation of the document. This is our strategic plan. It's the library staff, it's the board, it's the community, it's the county, it's our strategic plan on how the library is going to serve all of us. So that's my update on what I'm doing so far and the types of things I'm working on. Oh, and just so you know, I spoke to the state library. A lot of people were making comments about that we were worried. The state library wants us to have a good strategic plan. So I said it would be finished next April. There would be no time. It would just be written by me. And a few staff members if it was finished in the fall. So we're moving into winter and they want the library just to be successful. And, you know, as a leader, as one of the major libraries in the state, we want to show what a strategic plan should be to the rest of the state and have our library be the most successful. So that means dedicating the time to it. So they're fine with it. As they said, when we get close to the deadline, if you just ask for another extension, they've already said they're going to give it. So that's no problem.
Lisa, thank you. A really bold outline and you've set very high expectations. And I think people are really thrilled to hear that. And you've done extensive amount of work since you've started. So thank you very much for a very comprehensive start to a strategic plan. And I think quality is incredibly important more than speed. And I think the way you've outlined it relative to community input, staff input, it's not you in a room writing it. It's truly a community strategic plan for the libraries. And combined with what Dave has discussed by way of the budget and the funding we have, and we were able to sustain what we thought we might lose, I think you're really set to do great things. So thank you.
I'm really trying hard. I'm really love it here and everybody's just been great. And I want to do a good job for you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Moser, for the record,
Mhm.
I just have to say how much joy I feel hearing all of the details that you just laid out for us. You found important blockades that you now are figuring out how to remove. You've thoughtfully researched and synergized and arranged really important and necessary ways to also be efficient with our budget, seeing just from like the most minuscule of sectors that affect our community all the way to like national and how that fits in with our library system, new types of positions. That is an idea, that I love that idea. Just your experience and how you're applying it in such accuracy and such freshness. I feel so just blessed, I guess, that you are here for the legacy to continue on in such a wonderful platform to build from. And so I'm so grateful and I just cannot wait to see, from a distance where you go with this. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And you mentioned high expectations. And I wouldn't want to be in a world where we didn't have high expectations for how we serve each other. And we serve the community. It's for me, it's a sacred trust to take on a position like this. And I'm, you're trusted by the people on that. And, so you wanted, I always say I could never be one of those business people who makes widgets, just little things.
I doubt it.
So yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun.
Good.
We're having fun. I'm having fun too, watching you. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again. We will now proceed to item number 3, which is public comment. And I have a list here of individuals noting that it's a 3-minute period for public comment. We will start with Grace Fuller.
Thank you. Judy Forsmo was one of our best volunteers, and she was a friend of mine. We met here at the Incline Village Library. My name is Grace Fuller. and I am the trustee of the Judith Ann Forsmo Living Trust Legacy Fund. Judy was, her wish for her trust was to support the Incline Village Library and the Incline Village Hospital in order to give back to the community that she loved and she served herself for so many years. How many of you are here tonight to support the acknowledgement of the Judith Ann Forsmo Trust? All right, great, thank you, thank you. The gift is to the Incline Village Library branch, and I want to thank you all too for coming up tonight and including the Legacy Fund on your agenda.
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. Christopher Tongs.
Christopher Tong, Washoe County resident. First, I would join others in welcoming our new director. We begin these meetings with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Final words of which are, quote, "with liberty and justice for all," unquote. Everyone in this room knows that among the liberties protected in this country are freedom of speech and freedom of the press. 2 meetings ago, the chair declared these sessions to be a safe space. Clearly, they are not a safe space for members of the public who speak out against one of your members. A trustee that cannot comply with the Pledge of Allegiance and cannot handle the public criticisms with civility and professionalism should not be selected as the next chair of this board. Her obsessive behavior toward her critics may or may not cross the line of what's legally allowed, but such conduct is not a mark of good citizenship. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you. Kate Celine.
Kate Salim for the record. So first off, I'd like to start with thanking the libraries for being early voting locations and election day locations. That contribution to our community is huge. I also want to thank those library staff I got to work with in the ballot processing room. They were there working overtime, which was a new situation this year that enabled county employees to work overtime. But I'm hoping for the general election, those employees will also be able to handle daytime shifts as well. It has always been kind of a county thing that we do as employees to pitch in and help out with the election cycle, whether it's tech support, helping at different polling locations, or our department lending me and other employees to work during the day to help with processing mail ballots. We don't want to be on the news like California, and so every set of hands is helpful. I also want to welcome, they're not here tonight, but our new library board members, Marcus Nesbitt and Andrea Tavener. I could not be more happy and thrilled to have these 2 new individuals joining us next month. I also want to welcome Commissioner Hill as our liaison. I also could not be more thrilled to have that. And I'm super glad that you'll be joining us moving forward, and look forward to the guidance and even feedback that you might give. I was thrilled to hear the director's comments on board training. That has been something members of the public has been asking for well over a year for board members to train. And I hope that all of our board will be fully trained moving forward. And then finally, I wanted to address, we have 2 items on the agenda tonight, which is the election of the chair and assistant chair. And with 40% of the board leaving, I'd like to propose that the remaining members of the board consider voting for interim chairs and assistant chairs until the August meeting to give the new folks time to settle in. And then the full board can vote. It's just a proposal and just grateful to be here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bree Schmidt, next.
Bree Schmidt for the record. Good evening, trustees, Director McClure, and library staff. Thank you, Incline Village, for hosting us. It's always a treat to visit this beautiful library. I would also like to speak to the chair elections. I urge the trustees to think of the future of our library and what leadership they would like for our system. We've really been through the ringer these past few years, as I'm sure all of us here can attest. Under Director McClure's guidance and with a board committed to the revitalization of our libraries, I see a bright future for Washoe County. The chair holds power not just among the trustees, but among the public. They work with the library director to decide what ends up on meeting agendas and what doesn't. It's their discretion that helps guide the public in engagement with our library system. I implore you to vote for a chair and vice chair that can lead with integrity, clarity, and empathy. Consider your fellow board members with whom you've served these past few months. Who among you can lead these boards through new beginnings? Who among you can be trusted to guide new trustees in staunch support of the library? And who among you will put the needs of the many over the wants of the few? Trustees Moser and Silver, thank you for your service on this board the past few years. Good luck with your futures, and I hope everybody stays cool this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Judy Simon.
Or is this what I do? Okay, good, thank you. I just want the board. Do I have to?
Just hold it.
Oh, all right, how about this? I'm not going to probably use the whole 3 minutes, but I'm delighted to have the board up here in Incline Village. I do live here. Actually, I moved to Crystal Bay, but I'm still in Alexis Hills district. And we haven't had any trustees from Incline Village. So I'm glad that you came up here and you can see our great library. You may know that I served as a trustee two directors ago, but I have a good place in my heart for the library. And you may not know that I do hold a master's in library science myself. Doesn't do me much good anymore because I started that with the card catalog. We didn't have computers. We did have some videotapes. I forget whether it was VHS so it's a new world. And I think that Washoe County Library has done a great job with keeping up with the times. And I wish the new trustees a lot of luck. And I think the idea that Kate mentioned was to have interim chairs is a great idea. And I'm happy that the board now, when I was on the board, we did have a liaison. I didn't realize that it had been dropped with the commissioners, but I think that's a fine idea so that there's better communication, both about the budget and about policy matters. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Have Lilia Putney. No problem. Thank you. We'll go to Krista Flanagan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Krista Flanagan. I just want to take a moment to thank Director McClure for the lovely update on the strategic plan that changes my public comment just a tiny bit, but that's okay. I'm happy to make that change. I want to say thank you so much to the Board of County Commissioners and the Alexis Hill liaison for being here tonight, as well as the appointment of board members. We're all really excited to see where everyone takes this going forward. As we consider going forward, I'm here today to ask the library board to seriously consider who should be the next board chair as trustees Silver and Moser end their terms. I would like to remind everyone, both on the board and in this room, of the factual events that happened the last time trustee Gianna Jacks was elected chair of the board. Under trustee Jacks' time as chair, she could not run meetings effectively and fairly, especially in the June 2024 library board meeting here at Incline. Meetings were canceled or changed to entirely isolating and inconvenient times, and the chair openly attempted to delay the new chair election in order to preserve her position a little bit longer. This was criticized by DA Herb Kaplan and the rest of the board as a disrespect of agenda and board protocol. She's also actively advocated against library funding and harasses those who use their constitutional right to give public comment that she disagrees with. These actions are not reflective of someone who has library's best interest at heart, but rather her own agenda. As we look to the future with our new board members and say goodbye to those who have served us here before, let us remember how the last few years have gone and vow to do better. I ask that Chair Silver and every board member here leave this board in a better position than they found it and think about how their actions will impact this board and Washoe County Libraries long after their terms have ended. Thank you so much.
Alana Fitzgerald.
So good evening, Alana Fitzgerald for the record, and thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Trustees, Director McClure, for your work and opportunity to speak. And thank you, Commissioner Hill, for being our liaison. I was so excited yesterday. To the board, though, as I said in April, I am hopeful that the drama and orchestrated chaos of the past few years is behind us. And you, our current trustees and our new trustees, can now focus on work on meaningful change to challenges that face the system. It has been an absolute shame to see the machinations used over the last several years by some who have attempted to fashion a library that discriminates and wants only to serve a limited population that they believe to be the right kind of people. The Board of County Commissioners changing tax. The Board of County Commissioners chose our two new trustees just yesterday. And I really liked Kate's suggestion. I hadn't heard that, so yay. From the reading of the applications and resumes, I believe that they will both bring new skills, new energy, and a commitment to truly meet the needs of our entire community. I believe they are trustees who will honor the responsibility as stated in the NRS 379.025, that they are trustees, that trustees shall, as a primary goal of the Consolidated Library District, provide the library facilities, resources, and trained staff to meet the informational needs of all residents of the district. In addition, I hope that every trustee, those staying with us and those just joining the board, believe in and follow the guidelines of the American Library Association and embraces the responsibility with which they are charged under our NRS, Chapter 379, that is, that the board is responsible for the literacy and the well-being of our community, specifically that you be the defenders of intellectual freedom and that you be prepared to support to the fullest the efforts of our librarians in resisting censorship of library materials by groups or individuals. In closing, I ask that each of you who stay on the board continue to keep working to keep our libraries as community hubs that welcome and provide resources for everyone, and that is every one of the wonderfully diverse people of our community. Thank you.
Sean Sullivan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Sullivan for the record, and I also want to thank the board for their service. I know it's quite a commitment to attend all these meetings and read the budgets and do the things, and seems like Miss Lisa's going to be doing a lot of that, and that's great to hear. Unfortunately, I have a pretty serious comment today. I also applied for the library trustee position and didn't get it, obviously, and I'm not bent about that at all. It's actually less work, and now I can come up here and speak my mind. I'm still disturbed by the harassment allegations, and I'm also concerned about one recent Robert's Rules of Order violation. I'm not advocating to end violations of Robert's Rules of Order. I think it is nice when you all get make personal comments that are kind of just surface level, nice day and whatnot. However, when another commenter, I was going to let it slide if I got in case I got the trustee position, but no longer. It's basically a family safety issue at this point for me. And I've been seeing selective enforcement throughout Reno. And I'm of course talking about the April 2026 meeting where for some reason my name was brought up and attempted to be, in my opinion, associated with Marxism, when I didn't even say the words ALA in the letters ALA in my speech. I echoed previous comments and then I clarified what exactly I was echoing. Regardless, I would support the ALA, given what I've researched. It seems like there was only one leader who supported Marxism. And if that's the new standard, then I feel sorry for some certain other political party that just one bad leader is a death sentence for life. So the logic of that comment went random name drop, ALA, Marxism, and then for some reason sex pervert wasn't my comment. But clearly I am not a Marxist. I do not. I have not seen communism succeed, and I don't think anyone has. Supposedly, there are several countries that are in transition to true communism, but they seem to be going the opposite direction. I do have some more thoughts on Marxism, socialism. I don't really have time for them. It's not really that important. I would also in this comment, it was mentioned that there were adult books in the children's section. I couldn't find an article on this. If anybody is aware of that, they can talk to me after. I'd like to read them. Thank you for your time.
You. June Barton.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Ithne Barton. I had the pleasure of the lovely drive from Reno today. Thank you, Director McClure, for your report. It is exciting to hear your ambitious plans. I've been around long enough to know that change is the only true constant, but even so, it can be difficult. And I wish you grace and smooth seas as you integrate into our capable and experienced library team. I would like to congratulate the board on our new board members, Andrea Tavener and Marcus Nesbitt. I'm excited about the breadth of their experience and their advocacy for the support of our library system and its services. It's also wonderful news that we have revitalized the Board of County Commissioners liaison position to our Library Board of Trustees. Welcome, Alexis Hill. Thank you to Chair Silver and to Trustee Mosier for your service. We wish you well. For the next Board of Trustee leadership, I wish to use my time today to advocate for our board members steeped in public service and with public records of library advocacy. If we are able to move forward with interim positions, thank you, Kate, it makes sense to allow our new members time to acclimate to their responsibilities and to be part of the selection process of the leadership with whom they will work. Regardless, if we are committed to moving forward, let us move forward with new leadership. Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to make public comment at this time? If so, oh, great. Thank you, Dave. Laura Weatherington.
Laura Weatherington for the record. I'm going to make this pretty quick. I have two things to say. First, thank you for taking my concern from the last meeting seriously. I really appreciate that. Second, I think that Vice Chair Mosier at some point in recent months said something like, we've all been growing together and like, look at us. And I never spoke to this, but I now want to say, I've been thinking about this for a long time since then. And to the two members who are, no, I mean, to the whole board, but only talking about the two members who are leaving, what I want to say to you all is thank you for your service. And I know it's been a rough road and probably not what you expected when you signed up. And I want to say too that I suspect that in the coming months, on the third Wednesday, you will be at home with your feet up. I congratulate you on that. But I also want to say that when you're ready, I will be saving you a seat so you can come to this podium. And I'm sorry you won't have a chance to put your feet up soon, but maybe at some point. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm sorry, the last thing.
Oh, you have time.
I don't know actually what I think about the library chair and vice chair trustees being appointed as the other people. I don't know how to think about that, but I suspect that the director may know how other
libraries have done this, or you may all know the history of how it's been done before. And I'm just curious why it is that like right after appointing new people, you're choosing the entire next year's slate. So it's just a question in my mind. And if you have time to talk about it, I'd love to hear how. Thank you.
All right, we will end this public comment period, hearing no one else who wishes to step forward, and we'll move to item number 4, board comment. This is a non-action item. It's limited to announcements, strategic plan activity, updates, or issues proposed for future agendas and or workshops. Any comments from my fellow trustees? Trustee Rupp.
Trustee Ruff, for the record, I wanted to start first with thank yous, a round of thank yous to Dave and your staff in HR, and also the fiscal department with Abby. I thank you for everything we've been through in the last year. And I feel like we've grown quite a bit with the budget and also with a new evaluation. I feel like we're stronger for all of that information that we got from your department. So thank you. I wanted to thank you, Chair Silver, for 2 years as chair. I appreciate your time and commitment and always getting the agenda out and running the meetings and just your perspective on things. I think you have really a lot of talent, and I appreciate everything that you've done. And same, Leah, it's been 4 years. I know it's a long time, and but I appreciate you as vice chair and your perspectives as well. I know you've been the youngest member of the board for a number of years, and I thank you for your commitment and finishing your 4 years also. And so I wanted to start with that. Thank you to Alexis Hill for being here. Thrilled to see, the liaison position again. Welcome to, I was not in town for the last meeting, so welcome, Lisa. Loved your presentation on your 30-60-90. Looking forward to what's happening with the strategic plan. It's very robust, and I'm thrilled to see that. So thank you to the library here for hosting us. Also, I wanted to mention, I know Sparks has been an evacuation center for the fires. So I wanted to thank them for doing that. I know the libraries always step up for that. And so that's always a concern, and we are getting into fire season. So thank you. And I guess that's it for right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Leah.
Trustee Moser. Okay, so I do have like an official speech. Can I do that at staff announcement?
I think you can do it now.
Okay, that'll be like my summary, like my graduation of 4-year summary. And so I do have just some comments. Thank you everybody for always coming, and I really appreciate that we have grown together. I do feel like I went from a freshman to senior, and now it's like the next generation's coming in. So it's really, it's been an overcoming experience that has brought a lot of joy in the end for me. And so thank you for just being strapped in with all of us while we went through all of the new experiences together. In regard to the Roberts Rule of Order, I do think that should be something that is like an official submitted complaint if it is an inaccurate public comment, because that is not right, and I do agree with that. And then in terms of the election, I was approached by Debbie before the meeting, in terms of what Kate was also brought up, and I did consider it, and I am not in favor of it when I gave it a good amount of thought, because I do believe that the trustees that we have here today have great experience, and as someone who's been on the board for 4 years, I can with confidence say that they will guide the new members of the board up a steep hill, with a lot of experience and good character and good heart. And I really have trust and faith in them doing a good job. And so I'm going to not be in favor of doing an interim. I think we have good candidates, good trustees here that can do a good job. And so I just wanted to address that. And then as well, I wanted to address a schedule change that I will be bringing up when we do go to approve the schedule, that there is a shift in when we elect the chair and vice chair, and also a shift in the location, because I do think it's important we come to Incline, but there are a lot of months in which the sun is out that we can reschedule that. And I do think it's important for more people to be able to join, especially now that we don't have Zoom where you can make comments and join in that way. And so I am going to ask for a schedule change to rearrange that for not only when we elect chairs, because I think most of the offices do exit in June or July, somewhere around there, but I think most of them in June. And so I do agree with that it's a like almost a vestigial limb of just something that doesn't work. And so I agree we should change that, and I'll be advocating for that. And so thank you all.
I would just, first of all, I don't see a lot of the people I wanted to address this evening, but I want to thank my fellow trustees. It was a great honor to serve. I chose not to seek reappointment, feeling that we faced a lot of headwinds, or I did. I was unprepared for the incredible fervor that ensued, but I think we got through it. We got through it together. And I thank the public for their candor, their feistiness, their information, their education. I learned a great deal from everybody and tried to do my best to balance extremes and find a way to evidence our complete commitment to the sustainability of libraries. The budget took a great deal to get through, and I'm very pleased. And Dave Solera, I want to thank you so much for guiding us and working with us. We were not uneducated about budgets. I work with millions of dollars, but I thank you for taking us through what I thought was a void of information and allowing the public to be part of that process. I have heard many comments over the last couple of years about board training, and I am not opposed to it. I want to thank Deputy DA Kaplan for always being there for our board in terms of training. We had it 2 at a time or 1 at a time. We were not untrained newbies sitting here. I know we were subject to great criticism, but I think we did our best. We are volunteers. I counted over 111 hours on agendas and conversations, those I was allowed to have. Remember, we were not able to discuss a lot of issues with each other. So we come here uninformed about how we feel. And tonight I took the liberty of getting a lift up here from Trustee Ruff, and we didn't violate open meeting law. We discussed our 2 daughters, and we were very conscientious about not discussing library meetings. And I thought, if I did, tough luck, take me to task, but we didn't. I learned a lot about Tammy Ruff's daughter. She learned about mine, and I saved gas. And I just can't thank you all enough, and I include the people who I often had a tremendous time trying to understand their point of view. But I grew as an adult hearing very contrary perspectives from everybody. And I think that's what we as Americans are trying to do. I think we're desperately in need of the ability to listen, to actively listen to one another, to appreciate different perspectives and different point of views. And if that is epitomized anywhere, it should be in our libraries. And I will continue to be an avid library user, an avid library contributor, and I can't wait to be on that side for my 3 minutes. So thank you. And if I've overlooked anything, let me make sure that we have covered everything in that agenda item. Don't believe there are any other board comments.
There is.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Trustee Rodriguez, as far as agenda items, I would like on our next month's agenda, if we could have HR here. We don't want to do like what happened with our previous director and go too long without proper evaluation. So when we were told and guided by HR for Jeff's evaluation when he was here, was at 3 months was his first evaluation, which will be coming up soon for our new director. So if we're going to be using the same format for evaluating our new director, then we need to have direction from HR on moving forward with that. So I think we need to agendize that. And as far as having an interim chair and vice chair, I would be in favor for that. It's actually funny because I was going to suggest the same thing, because we would be choosing today a chair and vice chair with 2 board members going out. And it would be our new board members and a new board that would be working under that chair and vice chair for the next year at least. And I think if we give them a couple of months to get to know everybody, one of them might even be qualified to take on that role. So I think we should consider interim chair and vice chair for the next 3 months, and then do a new vote maybe in August or September.
Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 5. Approval of meeting minutes from our last meeting on May 20th, 2026, and this is for possible actions. I don't have any comments regarding the agenda. I don't know if any of my fellow trustees do. But if not, I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th.
Trustee Rodriguez, I would make a motion that we approve the minutes for last month.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Trustee Moser, second.
May I have a vote? All those in favor of approval of the May 20th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much. We will now move on. Keep flipping these pages. I'm sorry. True. I will now move on to item number 6, general business. Number 6A is election of chair for Library Board of Trustees for fiscal year 2027 for possible action. And I will first ask our Deputy District Attorney if we can anyway alter the agenda. I was instructed this must be done this evening. I'm not sure if this body has a chance to act on a change of that timing. If you would be so kind as to comment on that, please.
This is giving me feedback, but Herb Kaplan for the record, what our bylaws and what the agenda require is that we as a board elect a new chair and new vice chair. I understand the concerns and I don't necessarily disagree with the concerns. I think that it is a viable option the way that the agenda, the way that the item is agendized to elect basically an interim chair and interim vice chair, if that's the pleasure of the board, and then to potentially revise our bylaws down the road to change the date. It doesn't make sense because all trustees' terms will end on June 30th. And it doesn't make sense necessarily. In this case, we have 2 trustees leaving at once. I understand the concern. I don't think it necessarily is prohibited that we can't elect temporary chair and temporary vice chair. Again, if that's the pleasure of the board, and then whatever the board decides, whether it's 3 months down the road or 6 months down the road to elect an actual chair with the new board.
May I be allowed to make this matter of discussion between my colleagues?
Absolutely.
I am opposed to interims because it is interim role, and I came prepared for that, and I think the public did. I was prepared to nominate a chair, and I will look to my fellow. I think Trustee Rodriguez made her point of view clear. Trustee Ruff and Trustee Moser, do you have comments?
Trustee Ruff, for the record, I understand the desire for an interim. However, I am not for it, which sounds self-serving because, to be honest, I would like to be chair. And I've been on the board for 2 years, and I feel like there really is a length of time that it takes you to be up to speed. And I think it's more than 3 or 4 months. And I think working with the new director, it takes someone who has had the experience of a year or 2 on the board to really start in, especially with the strategic plan being worked on immediately. So again, I understand it's self-serving because I would like to be board chair, but I do feel like there is a learning curve to this, and I think it's more than 2 or 3 months. And I don't know the 2 people coming on the board. I didn't know anyone here. And it does take a little bit when you only get to sit next to someone and you don't get to have a conversation ever to kind of get to know someone. It really is only the agenda items. So it's just very difficult. So I feel like in this instance, we should go ahead and elect a board chair and vice chair. if that's something moving forward, I can see where, as Herb mentioned, moving it to a different month. I don't know if there's another time when 2 chairs go out. I know that I have 3 more years on my term. Do you have 3 as well? You have,
No, 3.5, yeah.
so you've done 1 whole year. So then the year that we would be out the same time.
I think we
so.
would.
Okay. So
like
it happens more than, yes. Anyway.
Comments? Thank you. Trustee.
Trustee Rod.
Oh, sorry, go for it.
I just want to add clarification. This isn't to say that possibly the same 2 people could end up being reelected after the interim time. Because if they were interim chairs, it doesn't, and vice chair, it doesn't mean that they would be ineligible. Once the other trustees had an opportunity to get to know them, they may think that they're fantastic and want them to remain. So that's the point. It's not saying that they would necessarily be the candidates at that point. It could be one of the 3 that remain here. Also, as a point as far as how long they have experience, the only reason I mentioned that one of them might be qualified is maybe they have experience in running a board. Or I know I have experience running a board. I was chair of the Reno Arts and Culture Commission and the Neighborhood Advisory Board that I sit on. I'm still vice chair on that board. So they might come in with experience, and we do have we have had 2 chairs that came in with less than a year, but were voted on. So my point is that I'm not saying that they would be the 2 that would be chosen, and it doesn't mean that the 2 that we choose today would not remain, because they could end up being, they could decide, well, let's keep the ones that we have. We're happy with them.
Go forward with the election of a chair of the Library Board of Trustees for fiscal year 2027.
I move to approve incoming chair for 2027. Is that what it is? Yeah, 2026. Oh. Well, my comment is just generally, Trustee Moser, I oppose the idea. I believe it's a rushed idea. I believe that the agenda is agendized with specific words that would limit us from appointing an interim. I think it's very clear it's for a chair, it's not for an interim. And I think our trustees have experience that will guide. And so for me, it's not something that I think is an emergency and devastating to the library system if we wait for them to get their bearings over the next year to then run for an election and really learn the system, have board training, really understand. You know, we've said over years now, board training is so important. And so board training without even any application is really just theology, or what is it? Is that the word for it? Philosophy.
Could be.
It's really theoretical. That's what it is. Theoretical. So it's like, you know, you learned it in the books, but you haven't had time to apply it. And so I really think that our trustees here have that experience, that head knowledge, as well as that experience applied, and they'll do a fantastic job. So I have no concerns, and I would like to move forward and move to go forth with the nomination.
Madam Chair, Herb Kaplan for the record. We don't need a motion to move forward. I know there's a motion on the floor and that can be withdrawn. The item is the item. If someone wants to make a motion to elect a temporary chair, they can do that. But at this point, I think we need to get nominations and a motion for someone to be elected chair.
I withdraw my motion for the record, Trustee Moser.
I will. Her experience, her background in libraries, and her attentiveness to detail and commitment to this board.
Trustee Rodriguez, for the record, I second that. I wanted to nominate her last time anyway.
I am in favor of Trustee Rupp becoming our new board chair.
In favor.
We know we're used.
Yeah.
And Trustee.
Chair, I nominate trustee Rodriguez for vice chair.
That as well. And do we have a second?
Oh,
someone else?
yeah, I second.
So, and
Okay.
Madam Chair, Herb Kaplan for the record. I don't think we had a motion on the, or rather a vote on the chair or the vice chair. We need. Okay, thank you.
I vote I vote in favor of the nomination of trustee Rodriguez as vice chair of the Library Board of Trustees.
Wait, so do we have a motion? I think he's clarifying that we need to move and then. Okay, yeah, okay.
Take the action. Yeah. All right, I will make the motion that we take action on the I thought I said this, on the election of vice chair of the Library Board of Trustees. And I will go ahead and second the nomination for.
I think I seconded, but you could,
second.
we just need an all in favor, I, yeah.
Let's, I need to go back to the nomination.
I think we just need Herb Kaplan for the record. I think we just need a vote at this point. Call the motion for, you can call the motion both for Tammy to be appointed or elected as chair and Marie to be elected as vice chair.
Okay, so you still have time to back. All right, so I make the motion to elect trustee Ruff.
You just say.
We did that. We just need all in favor.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Obviously not. Thank you very much. My fifth mic. A distance? Jeez, Dan Rather. All right, giving away my age. All right, I will now ask for a vote based on the nomination for trustee Rodriguez to serve as vice chair for the Library Board of Trustees for fiscal year 2027. I ask for those in favor to say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, vote 4-0. Congratulations, both of you, trustee Rodriguez as vice chair and trustee Rupp as chair. I will move on to item 6C, appointment of one library board trustee to Friends of Washoe County Library as the Friends of Washoe County Library liaison, and this is for possible action. Do I have any nominations for appointment of one library board trustee to serve as Friends of Washoe County Library?
Trustee Moser, for the record, I would just ask that we postpone this until the next meeting so that one of the two new trustees can volunteer for this position and then start getting really good experience with the Friends. I know Tammy or trustee Ruff has already been a Friends liaison, and so I don't think it would be appropriate for either of them to take on this role at this time. Unless you want to, trustee Rodriguez.
Trustee Rodriguez, for the record, I'm already not officially friends with them, but I'm friends with people who are friends. But I don't need to take on anything additional at this time where I am in my life. So I would agree with postponing that.
Trustee Ruff, for the record, same, because it is really wonderful to learn about the board, meet the board members, also being friends. And, you know, if you have the time going through the training and all of that to know exactly what they do and how much they work. So that might be something the two new people would be like, you
Let's
know.
hear it for the Friends. If I understand, Deputy DA Kaplan, we may actually now have a motion to postpone the selection or the appointment of a library board trustee to serve as liaison for the Friends of Washoe County Library.
Herb Kaplan for the record. No motion is necessary. You can just table the item.
Great. I am hereby tabling that item for the next agenda. All right, moving on to 6D, approval of Library Board of Trustees meeting schedule for 2026 and 2027.
Trustee Moser, for the record, I would just like to ask that we swap the Incline Village to either July or August. I have no concern for the specific month, just I know summer month is better because of the snow and driving. And so I would just encourage that we could decide to swap one of those if it pleases the board.
I would turn to the two trustees who will be with us and ask you for your comments on any changes or revisions, otherwise approval of the current locations and meeting times.
Marie Rodriguez for the record. If we were going to choose a different month, I would prefer July simply because August is too close to school and I'd have to try to get from the campus to here in August, but that's kind of a selfish reason. But I am open to the idea depending on how my other trustee feels.
Ruff, for the record, Director McClure, is there any reason you can think of? Sorry.
Excuse me.
Director McClure, is there any reason you can think of that? I know it's traditionally been here in June to swap it with another, or concerns by staff for swapping it with another day?
We can't. I don't think.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, great.
Trustee Moser for the record. So the reason I did want to do that is in regard to the election of the chair and vice chair in June. So if that is something that is eventually changed in the bylaws, this could be changed. But I think for now, if it does remain that Incline is the location for a chair election and vice chair election, that it does a disservice to the rest of Washoe County that lives in a population center that is difficult to get up here at this time in this month. And so that's the only reason why I'd want to swap it. Otherwise, if the bylaws were to change, I don't think it would affect the date and the location in the same way.
So for clarification, if we change the month in which we start electing our chair and vice chair, then we could just leave it here because we would be at a more central location.
Yeah, so that would just then, I guess, be up to the onus of you two and the new members to decide in the bylaws to change when the chair and vice chair are elected. And it would make this a moot point.
Okay, so at this point, we could take a motion to approve this and then at a future time, we can consider changing.
Sounds great.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve our meeting locations for the next year.
For the record, I second.
Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you. Back. Okay. I will now move forward with item number, I'm sorry, item C E, which is approval of library holidays and closures for FY 2027, and we have a list in front of us. Do I have any comments on the current Washoe County Library holiday or closure schedule? Is this something you would like to address, Director McClure?
No.
Yeah, they seem pretty standard to me. Any comments from the future chair and vice chair?
Madam Chair, I think it's, if not exactly the same, similar, and just date changes for, the day of the holidays. So I move that we accept the holiday closure schedule for fiscal year 26-27.
If I could make a comment in between that vote, I think it's 4 o'clock is very late on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I would like to see it be 3 o'clock. Not for the purpose of preventing the public, but I think traditionally many people are off at noon on those days. And I think in fairness to the staff,
Trustee Moser for the record. I actually never noticed that. And is it, oh, yeah.
And I believe there is error on Independence Day, that it doesn't have the additional time of the 4th.
okay, on a Friday, got it.
Well,
Well, I'm only making a comment in my last meeting that I think in light of holidays and how our community tends to operate, I think 4 should be 3 PM. It gets dark some of these holidays and people have traffic and a desire to get home. And I feel very strongly it's an opportunity for staff to have their goodbyes and get home to their families. And 4 o'clock, it's dark and cold on many of these dates. So I would suggest 3 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock.
Director McClure, would you like to go over this again? We could table this item as well and go over it next month, having looked at the dates and the times with your staff and see if they would like to leave
I think
a little bit earlier. Okay, so I withdraw my motion that I
Herb-
made previously.
Herb Kaplan for the record. Can we ask staff to clarify as to the 4th of July, which will occur prior to our next meeting? And at least address that, because I'm not sure that Friday the 3rd is correct. It might be a different day, but I'd like for staff to clarify that.
Ryan? Okay. Kristen Wren for the record. Just looking at the schedule. So typically, since we're county, anytime a official holiday or floating holidays, so 4th of July, Veterans Day, Alexis Helms, for our other floating ones. When those land on a weekend, the county observes the holiday the Friday before or the Monday after. And so typically, historically, when those floating holidays fall on a weekend, the library closes on those days as well, because the county doesn't want to pay us overtime because it's pretty expensive on that, because we get a lot of holiday pay, holiday overtime. And so historically, we close on the actual day and the county observed holiday.
So how did this list come about if that's in fact the way the county operates?
I do not have, I'm not
Where did
privy
this
to
come
that.
from?
I'm not privy to that. I just noticed when I was looking at the agenda, I'm like, whoa.
Well, it sounds like you're going to benefit then. You'll be closed the day before the holiday and it won't be a question of 3 PM or 4 PM the day before.
No, this is for July.
We're just talking July.
July 4th, yeah.
Okay. So if I understand correctly, you are closed on Friday.
Yes, we
Well,
will.
this list is closures, so that is noted, right?
Are you adding
I'm not sure.
Trustee Moser, are you adding the 4th then? You're saying the 4th also needs to be listed on this?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, July 4th also
okay.
needs
Well,
to
now
be
I
listed
understand.
on this. So
All
on
right.
Saturday, July 4th needs to be listed on this holiday closure schedule.
Understand. Does that occur on any other date? That's
Oh,
listed?
you're asking me, okay, wherever
But
our
we might
floating
as well
holiday.
take the time
Okay,
right now.
so Christmas this year, no, Christmas is on Friday.
Yeah.
Listed, or is that our county? Christmas is on Friday. Okay, yeah. So veterans, where's veterans? That's a Wednesday.
Make a suggestion, rather than putting you on the spot to go through this. I would table this, not because it's such a big deal, but I think we have some corrections. And I think everybody should understand the county regulations and redo this so it's reflecting what day you have off and the holiday. Would that be sensible to do rather than go date by date here?
Except for it's the 3rd and 4th, that's for.
Right, and I understand, but I mean, if you would like us to look at we understand now that you are closed on Friday and July 4th is Saturday. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, other
Well,
than that.
I do have a question. If we table this, do we still need to vote at least for Independence Day?
Yes,
Because
we'll do
before the
that.
meeting. Okay.
We'll do that, yes. I'm
Okay.
just trying to postpone going through every date right now. Because we were just sent this list and it looked good to me, except the 4 o'clocks that I thought should be 3 o'clocks. 3 o'clock. So in the matter of July 4th, I would like a motion to recognize that Friday, July 3rd, in keeping with Washoe County, the library will be closed as well as on the actual holiday of July 4th.
Trustee Rodriguez, I'll make a motion that we approve Independence Day Friday, July 3rd and July 4th, and table the remaining holidays and to a future date.
Do I have a second?
Trustee Moser, second.
Great, thank you. Call for the vote. Everyone in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. We are now looking at item number 6F, acknowledge notice of proposed action regarding the Judith Ann Forsmo Living Trust Legacy Fund for the sole benefit of the Incline Village Library, and this is for possible action.
Hello, hello. All right. All right, Jamie Hemingway, Development Officer for the record. So I have a staff report here and it has a handy dandy motion. I'm going to point that out to make it easy. That is the very last thing on the second page. So we've written it there out for you, but this one is very special and we had public comment by Grace Fuller, who is actually the trustee of this living trust, which is fantastic. And basically, former Incline Village Library volunteer, Judith Ann Forsmo has basically her wish was to establish this trust to bequeath, it says 50% of the trust residue after expenses to the Tahoe Community Foundation in order to establish a permanently endowed legacy fund named the Judith Ann Forsmo Incline Village Library Legacy Fund. So the charitable purpose of the fund shall be to support the Incline Village Library branch of the Washoe County Library System. And from what I understand, basically, December 31st, we will find out just how much of that fund will be going to support the Incline Village Library, and Incline Village Library staff will work with, of course, the library director to find out some exciting projects that they want to make happen with those funds. And we'll work out the details at a later date, but it sounds like we will submit those ideas to the Tahoe Community Foundation, and those will be approved, and we'll work out how it's going to go, whether it will be treated as a grant or a donation. But in any case, we are grateful to have this opportunity, and we look forward to seeing someone who actually put community hours into this building make a difference. So that is all I have for this item. And there is the motion on the second page.
Trustee Moser, for the record. Thank you, Grace, for showing up as well. I would like to just hear a little bit about Judith, if you can just describe a little bit about, her heart for the library. And it's very important, I think, to just honor her, and I would like to know a little bit about her.
Well, Judy and her husband moved here as retirees, and so she volunteered all over town. So she had lots of choices of where to give her money. And she loved the library, and she was one of our best volunteers. You could always count on Judy to show up. She could do everything. She was really good, and she loved being a volunteer. She was a really good worker. And she was just a lot of fun. She loved to golf. She had a whole group of 49ers or the Niners that she golfed with. So she had a lot of friends from Incline that she really enjoyed being here. Her husband died 10 years ago. So and she just kept coming to the library, and, she took care of him. They were just a lovely couple. And this was just, what she wanted to do with her legacy is to leave it to the library and to the hospital in Incline. And so it was they were trying to decide where to move next. And when they were moving up from the Bay Area in the 30, 40 years ago. And Florida was one of them. And they spent a little bit of time in Florida for Kenny's relatives, and then chose Incline Village. So they had a lot of friends here and a lot of good times.
Well, we're very fortunate to have learned a little bit of Ms. Forsman, and I want to call for the motion. Jamie, thank you. The motion is stated as such: should the Library Board of Trustees agree with staff's recommendation, a possible motion would be Move to acknowledge the notice of proposed action regarding the Judith Ann Forsmo Living Trust Legacy Fund for the sole benefit of the Incline Village Library. Would someone like to make that motion, or do I have? Yeah.
Chair Silver, trustee Ruff, for the record, I move to acknowledge the notice of proposed action regarding the Judith Ann Forsmo Living Trust Legacy Fund for the sole benefit of the Incline Village Library.
Do I have a second?
Trustee Moser, second.
Let me call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Terrific. That's wonderful.
Wonderful.
And Jamie, thank you so much. And thank you, Grace, for being here.
Trustee Moser, sorry, just for the record, I would also like to just add that it says, I think it really speaks high praise for the staff here, for the volunteer to have had such a wonderful experience and then want to leave so much of what their heart was steeped in. And so just thank you to our staff here. I think it really just speaks highly to the services and the interactions, the positive interactions that you're having. And so I just thank you as well.
And I just want to point out, it does say that Judith volunteered at this library for about 25 years. Is that right? Yeah. So one other
Please go ahead.
item involved with that, we did get some very legal documents, and one of them is addressed to the chair, Chair Silver. So I will ask for your signature
Please.
on these before we leave tonight.
Be very happy to sign.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Jamie?
I will remain for the next item.
Good. Okay, thank you. We will move to item 6G, acknowledge third quarter fiscal year 2025-2026 cash and non-cash donations received by Washoe County Library between January 1st and March 31st, 2026 for a combined total of $123,908.75. This is for possible action. Jamie, take it.
All right, thank you. And once again, for the record, Jamie Hemingway, Public Information and Development Officer. I have the good fortune of serving as the person that gets to oversee these incoming donations, so I also get to acknowledge them. And we have a list, I believe that's included in the report, and it's a list of all of the donations that we received during that quarter. So a lot of really fantastic donations, and we acknowledge every single one of them, whether it's $25 or, as we see here, we've got a $5,000 anonymous donor to the Downtown Reno Library. So we honor them all. And these do go into our gift funds, and they go as established gift funds. They go to support the libraries and the services of Washoe County Library System. So basically, according to, on the fiscal impact section, it says the reported third quarter fiscal year 2025-2026 donations will increase gift funds by $123,908.75. Monies in the gift fund may be used for the construction of new library buildings, capital improvement to existing buildings, special library services or programs, staff development and training, collection development, equipment and furniture, and other identified library purposes. So on that note, we are ready for a motion.
Thank you. Would anyone like to make the possible motion, which reads, should the Library Board of Trustees agree with the staff's recommendation, a possible motion would be move to acknowledge third quarter fiscal year 2025-2026 cash and non-cash donations received by Washoe County Library between January 1st and March 31st, 2026 for a combined total of $123,908.75. I myself will make the first motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Trustee Moser, second.
All those in favor, or any comment before that? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. And
Congratulations. Good job.
I want to note that the Friends donations are included in this list, and they donate, I think it was 110,000. So go Friends.
Yes. You're up. This is my favorite. We will now move on to item 6H, which is discussion of conflicts of interest presented by Herb Kaplan, Deputy District Attorney, and this is a non-action item. Mr. Deputy District Attorney, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Herb Kaplan for the record. I just want to break this down into two fairly simple areas. First is the ethics code that is set forth in NRS Chapter 281A. It's a series of rules governing the conduct of public officers. Our bylaws provide as follows, quote, trustees or public officers as defined in NRS 281.005 subsection 1 and NRS 281A.160 sub 1. Accordingly, trustees are subject to the ethics and government provisions codified in NRS 281A.010 et sec. Trustees shall comply with the Code of Ethical Standards of NRS 281A.400 et sec. End quote. The ethics in government law prohibits and requires certain conduct when a public official is taking action that may affect certain individuals. In NRS 281A.400, there's a list of items that are prohibited actions that cannot be taken by a public official, such as receiving gifts or services from an individual, using their position to get unwarranted privileges, negotiating a contract between a government agency and the officer's business, receiving payment from private source for performance of duties, using confidential information obtained through the position to benefit personal interests, suppressing government information that would tend to be unfavorable to the officer, attempting to benefit personal interests through the use of a subordinate. These are things that are specifically listed in 281A.400, and there are a couple others that are listed throughout 281A. These are things that in anything that you do as a public official, you're prohibited from doing. That brings me to the conflict of interest, which is really the issue that has been raised more recently in our meetings. Essentially, some of the things that I just mentioned could play into a conflict of interest, and there are other things as well that could. So if we're in a public meeting, and this is all we're talking about, in a public meeting, and you're unsure if you have a conflict of interest, ask yourself these questions. Number one, will I or have I received a gift or a loan related to the matter that's before the board? Number two, do I have a significant financial interest in the matter that's coming before the board? And number three, does someone close to me have a significant financial interest in the matter coming before the board? This determination is made by each individual trustee. The standard to look at is whether a reasonable person in your situation would find it necessary to disclose the conflict. Disclosure is only required if a reasonable person in your position would be influenced by either your own financial interests, the interests of someone you have a commitment in a private capacity to, or a gift or a loan that you've received. That doesn't mean that those are the only things that necessarily should be disclosed. Anything else that may relate to something which might give the appearance of impropriety can and probably should be disclosed by the trustee who has that relationship. Disclosures are always encouraged, and I would point everyone to the Ethics Commission website. They have a lot of information to guide public officials in affecting their duties without violating the ethics code. And the conflict of interest, there's specific language that's required. I won't get into that specific language. It is found in the documents on the Ethics Commission website. And if anyone feels that they have a conflict issue before the meeting, they can certainly contact me or my office, and we can assist in putting together language to disclose the conflict. The next issue, however, is even though there may be a conflict, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should not participate in the action. In fact, the standard is whether a reasonable person in your situation would find that your independence of judgment would be materially affected by the relationship. And it's only when this is found that you may abstain. I've covered this in other meetings. The State of Nevada Ethics Manual on Disclosure and Abstention provides that there's a general presumption that a board member can vote on any issue. The Nevada Commission on Ethics suggests that, quote, abstain only when necessary, end quote, noting that, quote, abstention from participating in decision-making by a public officer can disrupt how representative government usually works. It also takes away the opportunity for the public and the officers' constituents to have a say in government matters. Therefore, the rules about disclosing conflicts of interest and abstaining are meant to require abstention only in clear cases where a reasonable person in the public officer's situation would be significantly influenced by the officer's acceptance of a gift or loan, significant financial interest, or commitment in a private capacity to another's interest. And that is pursuant to NRS 281A.420. I do also want to note that anyone can file an ethics complaint on the Ethics Commission website. That is a process that essentially some of the complaints could go forward and to an actual hearing. Other complaints, and probably most complaints, are dismissed by the Ethics Commission without further information. But anyone can file one if you feel, again, there have been numerous individuals who came before our board indicating that they thought that there were ethics violations. If that's the case, this board is not going to enforce the ethics code. It's the Ethics Commission, and a complaint can be filed by anyone to the Ethics Commission if you so choose. Any questions?
Got all that?
Thank
No,
you.
That's the most I've heard you say in any meeting. Thank you so much. I would like to think that any board member, new or continuing, understands that it is a reasonable test, whether there's an ethics violation. So thank you for that report. And if there are no other questions of Deputy DA Kaplan, I will move to the last item, number 7, which is public comment. And I'm sorry. I don't have it on my. I'm sorry. I crossed it out. Item number I, and that is item under 6I, which is discussion of monthly educational item, a pathway to the strategic plan. This month, partnerships, advocacy, and marketing campaigns. Proving Washoe County Library System is a relevant and essential service for the public good. And I believe you mentioned this, Director McClure. Are you addressing this item?
Yes.
Okay.
It is education segment. It's not always going to be me just talking at you, but I'm trying to, I want to make you guys aware of what goes into the strategic plan and the goals that we want to achieve. Thank you. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Okay. So as I mentioned, I use primarily strategic gap analysis that takes us from where we are to where we want to be. We can't just do incremental change. We need to transform to meet what the community needs. So we're looking, we're getting a big picture and seeing what change needs to be made. And I mentioned before, we can't afford to wait for gradual change and incremental change. If we have needs now, we need to address them. You'll find with me, I'm very practical when it comes to things. I like things ranked. I like things on a chart. And so this is about, building a plan. But before we talk budgets, staffing, and programs, services, we strategize our priorities by our outcomes. And last time I discussed what our outcomes were, how we're giving a return on investment to the community. And in doing so, I'm going to be comparing library service outcomes to professional best practices and ALA guidelines, and creating an implementation plan. But the most important thing about this is education. Libraries need to educate partners, government officials, county partners, community-based organizations, schools, especially the administration, community leaders and community members on what we do for collective impact so we can work together, for joint support so we can join funding and staff and spaces to deliver better services, and strategic partnerships for success. To prove that we're relevant and essential. And these words, relevant and essential, you'll hear a lot. These are buzzwords in the library world. A lot of people don't understand what the library is, and that it's just a nice place to go and get a book and read, in the main library, in the pods, and enjoying the plants and stuff. But we have a definite educational purpose and of meeting the needs of every single person in this community, having the resources for that. And most people don't know that that a library degree is a master's degree, though we have librarians who have relevant experience in the place of that. But I've been to meetings where major leaders in the community, superintendents or whatever, not here yet, I haven't met the new person yet, but have no idea what we do, what our resources are, and what we can offer them. And relevant and essential, we are a system that has what we think are obvious benefits, but some people don't think it's necessary, as evidenced by the vote we just had, and don't realize the extent of the services, the number of resources we offer. So I'm looking at a campaign, a marketing campaign where we're looking at Washoe County Library System as a place where learning begins, where your future begins, or in your partner in whatever, your partner in early learning, your partner in small business, your partner in retirement. We offer resources in all of these things and can provide guidance in using those resources to make your own futures, your own, when you're looking at your health, at your jobs, at your retirement, we have things that can help you. But in order to win the respect of the community and the other county departments and ensure that our budget is adequate, we have to prove that relevant and essential part. We all know that we're relevant and essential, but it's a lot of people don't know the significant value that the library has. Every library is a national organization that looks at library funding, who's getting what, that helps people go for funding. And in 22, they stated our budget was 14 million. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but they calculated the return on investment to the community was $39,745,368. That for every dollar, it's $2.88 of return on investment. whether that's providing materials for your taxes, for looking up where your investments should be, for getting advice on elder care. We help you do the research and provide you with answers. I don't remember if I mentioned before, librarians make up a great percentage of Jeopardy champions because we're the great generalists. So just coming to a library, you can ask for help on whatever the issue is, and we will find resources to help you. So, so we have to educate the public on what public librarianship is. The sad truth is most people don't know what we do. And it's always been my job as a library director to sell the library as a relevant and essential service. I create campaigns. I do create staff training tools, marketing materials, and deliver public presentations to make people aware of what we do. I work with partners explaining the outcomes that we offer. I look at our what barriers we face, what achievement gaps, the digital divide, and we share with the public how we can help them overcome those issues by embracing and engaging with library services. I help staff learn public speaking skills and teaching vocabularies so they can serve as active ambassadors for library services. I ask that this year, every staff member is going to have to articulate exactly what they personally do in their job creates an impact on the community. As I mentioned before, I have a lot of presentations on flash drives and a lot of materials available to teach people. I come to meetings with partners and with the county with statistics, reports, graphics, key performance metrics, proposals, and budgets, all delivered with my elevator speeches. I want to ensure that library leadership, trustees, staff, county officials, even staff, sometimes staff don't. I mean, if you're working in one area, you may not understand the details of the rest. That community-based organizations, educators, and community members recognize the quality and value of their public library. Why do I do this? Because whether we like it or not, we're all in competition for finite resources. And there are people who would destroy libraries, say they don't have a function anymore, they don't serve the right people or have the right ideas. So when we educate about how we serve every person, and when I say every person, people always look at excluding others. And when I say every person, I mean you. So whatever your views are in the public, we're there to help you with that. And that's the meaning of serving every person. It's not that we, seek out the most obscure people, but we want to serve everyone because our funding comes from everyone. To do this, we use marketing and development and fundraising opportunities to build what the library needs. And so when I work with partners, we work with PR, we go on programs, we go on TV, we get articles. And this is to raise the level of understanding about our relevance and essential nature. This is important in terms of going for funding. The library has kind of sat back in recent years and let others be funded. And, I would say I always have high expectations and people go, oh, Lisa doesn't understand the realities. Lisa understands the realities, but always hopes that, that with the proof we have of the value of what we offer, that people are excited to invest in the library. And to visit the library. We act as advocates for learning and literacy, for discovery, being able to leap barriers. And this brings real life applications and cost savings. I know people who have who have taken classes at the library and improved their jobs, improved their salaries by saying, now I have these skills. Have small businesses use our resources and they don't have to pay for them. A lot of small businesses hire consultants and the same exact information is here at the library. So what I do is I encourage our staff to go for awards and recognitions because awards cement our position in the community and help us look at funding. And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about money. I'm very transparent about money and my desire for money. I think every department honestly would do that. And because I believe that this library helps people succeed, I believe that this library saves lives. So for all of you and for the board, we need you to act as advocates for us. Speak out to other people, share your experiences. We educate people on the fact that we're a third place, if you've ever heard of that. Your first place is your home, your second is your job, your third place is where you go for relaxation, information, and engagement. Some people have the corner bar. I think that the library offers a little bit more. And we need to market as the place to be. We need to be smart. As a director, I run a business. It's a nonprofit or a government business, but it's the business just the same. We educate people, I educate people on finances and how adequate library funding determines strategy and defines community success. You get what you put into it. Without the capacity to work, without the right amount of staff, without the right resources, we can't do what we want to do, and we don't have the time to help you. So having a staff that's the correct size is inadequate resources. We keep the doors open, but I may make some radical moves in looking at hours that allow staff planning. And that's because that gives the best result to you. If we're open, 40 hours, if we're open 38 hours, with that 2 hours dedicated to bringing about results, that can always be a better option. Dollar for dollar libraries are definitely worth it. And we're going to go into strong partnerships. We always offer first, we ask later, because the library can help a lot of other organizations. And I want to expand our presence in other community organizations. And I know a lot of the branch managers and our administrative staff belong to other groups. We need to publicize the great work that they're doing and show the effort and care that people put into researching the community and working with partners. We need to educate about our resources. Most people don't know what we have. And once customers realize that the library is a transformative place that offers these tremendous opportunities to learn, engage, and explore, and have fun, they celebrate the library as a vital destination and that relevant and essential service. And the funding and support for libraries and our success in helping you succeed improves. So we're going to be doing a lot this year with marketing what we can do for you, because secret resources aren't any good. And I hope all of you will share with other people the mission of the library to help this community reach learning and literacy success in their lives, and that we are behind them in that. It's one of the sole organizations that exists to serve new needs as they arise, old issues. So I'm going to be working on a budget and educating people on a budget and what is required. There's no need to have secrets in a budget. I'm very transparent, and making sure it adequately reflects. So wanted to share this with you to show you the type of work I do and how we're moving forward in the strategic plan, and why it takes a year, because we need to educate everyone on what we do, the quality work that it is, and why we are relevant and essential. So when our plan reflects those goals and proves worthy of investment and partnership within the community. So I hope that wasn't too long.
No, thank you, Director. I think you're very motivational and inspiring. And I know that Trustee Moser and I really welcome your role and your comments. Thank you. We will now move to item number 7, which is our second session for public comment. Let me see if anyone has, signed the public comment sheet. Thank you. All right. Public comment, once again, limited to 3 minutes, please, and we'll begin with Kate Salim.
Did I do it?
You did.
Thank you. Kate Salim for the record. First, I want to extend congratulations to our new chair and co-chair. I definitely did not mean my suggestion as an insult to either of you, and I'm very grateful to have both of you leading this board for this next year. I'm excited to see the changes in the coming year. I was thrilled to see that you approved the locations for this next year, and that part of that includes the updates for each location that was written in the item. And I have very much missed hearing about what each branch is doing. And I was very disappointed we didn't get to hear about Incline tonight, because coming up here once a year is rare, and this is such a jewel up here. And would have loved to have heard about it. So next year,
It'll be
look
next
forward to that.
Will be next month.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and the other thing I would like the new chair to consider as you're writing your agenda is to bring back public comment for possible action items. That was stopped a while ago, and I think it has really inhibited the public in making good comments where we have to jam everything in at one time. And to be able to make valid points and comments, because the public is part of this brand, the libraries, and would just hope that you would consider bringing that back. I understand the reason previously why it was limited, but just please consider it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will take Bree Schmidt.
Bree Schmidt, for the record, I'll keep it brief. I'm sure we all want to go home. I just wanted to reiterate, thank you for electing positive leadership for the board over the next coming year. Excited for our new trustees. And Director McClure, it was lovely to hear from you and hear about what you're looking forward to with the library. All Nevadans deserve access to one of the few remaining third spaces, which is our public library. And hearing such positive comments tonight, talking about the need for this public space, talking about the need for a third space, and the fact that it is relevant and essential to all of our lives was very valuable to hear. I was born and raised in Reno full-time, and I've never left here, and the library was a relevant and essential service for me, and it's because of that that I am now a few semesters away from graduating, able to hold a full career, able to do work in volunteer capacities. So the library is a relevant and essential service to me, and I hope that the library board and our director and our whole library staff knows that When they need people to go to bat for them, they have an entire community. I think if anything, these past few years of library board meetings show that Washoe County shows up for their libraries, for better or for worse. So there will be people with boots on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you. Sean Sullivan.
Sean Sullivan for the record. I'll keep it real brief. Again, thank you. I want to echo, thank you for yes, selecting positive leadership going forward. And then the reason I wanted to come up here was I had a random thought I was hoping to cram in earlier, but I didn't. And a short anecdote. I checked out a few books and I was a few days late on one of them, and I came in expecting to pay, $1 or something, make a donation, and I assume this fee could be optional to help our most challenged members of society. But yeah, I think a modest fee should be considered, an optional fee should be considered if there are any need for further investments. Just a random thought.
Thank you very much. And Christopher Tong.
Christopher Tong, Washoe County resident. The phrase high expectations has come up multiple times in this meeting, and I appreciate the discussion of ethics and conflict of interest. 2 meetings ago, I was before you to recommend that the Washoe County Code of Conduct, which is mandated for county employees, be self-adopted by this board itself and considered for addition to the bylaws. There are limits to the State Commission on Ethics abilities. For example, I think harassment is specifically ruled out of jurisdiction by that commission because it's probably not mentioned in the NRS expectations for public officials, because I don't think anybody thought a public official might be harassing members of the public. So while I appreciate the existing ethics rules and regulations, they don't go far enough, as I mentioned at length at my last public comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else I've failed to call upon for public comment? Well, in that case, I will reluctantly, but I'm sorry, staff announcements, item number 8. No discussion or action may be taken upon any matter raised under this comment section until the matter has been specifically included on an agenda. Staff announcements, anyone?
Vice Chair Moser, this will be my last.
Is this your speech?
Yes.
Okay.
This is my last announcement. It's very official, so. Fellow board members, library staff, friends of the public, as well as the county liaisons. As I say farewell and step back from the board today, I would like to express my deepest appreciation and gratitude for the time and effort we have all spent together over the last 4 years of my appointed tenure. Libraries have always been a place of discovery, safety, wisdom, and understanding, and a multitude of stories. For me as a trustee, as a longtime Nevadan and a fellow human, the true value of a library extends beyond its shelves of books. It lies in the pursuit of truth. Throughout my tenure of this board, my guiding philosophy has been deeply rooted in my faith in the truth, to bring to light what has tried to hide in the dark. When we as individuals and a collective dedicate ourselves to truth, it engenders a natural tendency and leaning into honest discussions founded on integrity and respect for all. Every policy we drafted, every budget we approved, and every program we supported was an opportunity for us to serve our community with a spirit of stewardship to maintain a library system founded on a solid rock. Although we did come in with sharp edges that needed to be tumbled out, we are now on a sturdy platform to grow from. I sought during my tenure to make this board and system and the libraries a place where truth can be sought, found, and celebrated in safety. I leave this board knowing that legacy we are passing on is one of integrity, transparency, and a genuine desire to uplift our communities, our neighbors, and the overall stability of this precious system that we all love, sweat and tears and blood we have given for. I am proud of what we have accomplished together as a board. I am so grateful to have met you all, public, staff, board members alike. To the incoming trustees and wonderful library staff that will remain, I wish you continued wisdom, grace, and a deep dedication to truth. Thank you for the privilege of serving you.
Thank you. I will echo your sentiments. It's been a great experience for me. I thank the Washoe County Commissioners for selecting me initially. It's been a great privilege to work with the public, to better understand active listening skills through difficult times and some joyful times on this board. I wish Director McClure the very best. I certainly advocate for public comment. Regardless of its content, as long as it's not insulting or demeaning to anyone, everyone has a right to public comment. I am someone who truly believes in freedom of speech. And I also hope that the spirit of constructive dialogue can be what we remember. We've made great headway. It didn't always seem that way, but it's been a long road. We faced a lot of headwinds as the board, and I think we did a very good job in dealing with them. And I think we're very pleased with Director McClure being selected. And I think I have great faith in the incoming board members and thankfully welcoming Alexis Hill as the board liaison.